You're listening to the PRO Media Network, the next level in entertainment.
This is Big Q from the Sports Coma chiming in about the Pro Shop. Pro Shop is the platform store, and over 35 different designs are available for your pleasure. The new Drew Orleans shirts are coming in all colors, all sizes. Also for women, men, and children are available. Built Drew Orleans Tuff is also available. Despite Katrina, despite the plagues, despite everything else, we're still built Drew Orleans Tuff, and we're gonna make it through it. The very popular God is a Saints fan shirt is available with volume number 2. One shirt that says it all. You'll be the life of the party with your God is a Saints fan shirt. Also other designs like the Chump Missioner tees. We didn't get robbed. The Drew Orleans neck gaiter that's also available now on the Pro Shop. Also I am black and gold royalty. Tiger, purple and gold pride. Built NOLA Zion strong. Won't back down ever. Black and gold stand up, and many other great designs are available at the Pro Shop and provided to you by Pro Apparel. And not only tees or sweaters are available at the Pro Shop, also coffee mugs, smartphone cover cases for your Apple or Android, bedspreads, towels, posters, on and etc. Go to the Pro Shop, support the platform, and represent in style. Who that?
Go Tigers, 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 go Tigers,
You're now listening to Tuff Tiger Talk with Big Q and the guys on the Pro Media Network.
What's up, family? Welcome to Tuff Tiger Talk on the PRO Media Network. Another episode of Tuff Tiger Talk coming right at you on this Saturday edition. We got a lot of news to cover on Tuff Tiger Talk. I'm Big Q. And we're going to bring in our contributor on Tuff Tiger Talk, Uncle Mozzie, to the live stream as well. What's going on, Uncle Mozzie?
What's up with it?
And of usual, man, we got a lot to talk about on this Tuff Tiger Talk episode, man. We're going to recap on this episode of the Tigers' revised schedule. We got some interviews tuned up by Coach O and the starting quarterback, Miles Brennan, what they're thinking about going forward. We got a few topics to talk about, including a lot of people giving credit to LSU's offense in practice, saying that it looks real good. Now, that's saying a lot versus where they're coming from, but ultimately we'll decide on how that looks because although it's just practice, it's not a live game right now. So we'll cover that. And and also the other news pertaining to Darius Geis as well. The bad news about Geis and the rape allegations. We'll go over the story and talk about that as well. So please hit the like button. If you're a Tuff Tiger Talk fan and an LSU football fan, please hit the like button. Please subscribe and share the show with other Tuff Tiger Talk or LSU fans across the nation and your family members. If y'all LSU fans, share it along with your family members and have them to join the Tuff Tiger Talk Nation. So without further ado, we'll get right into the stories. We'll start off with the schedule, the revised schedule. Now, Mozzie, they were able to rework the schedule after the SEC commissioner came out and basically said we're going to go to an all-conference schedule. And so they had to add 2 more extra games on top of that. And that's what it is. Now, this is how it lines up, and we'll comment on each game going ahead. Mississippi State, September the 26th. October the 3rd is Vanderbilt. October the 10th is Missouri. October 17th, Florida. Hold on, let me start again. Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, Missouri are all actually, Mississippi State will be home. Vanderbilt's away. October the 10th against Missouri is home. If we're going to the Swamp to Florida on October the 17th, we'll come back home for October 24th matchup against South Carolina. Then we travel to Auburn October the 31st. And then, of course, we get a break in between. After October 31st is our bye week, and then we come back November the 14th at home versus Alabama for the big one. And then November the 21st, we go to Arkansas. And then back-to-back road trips is then we travel to Texas A&M on the 28th of November. And then the final game of the SEC season come to an end on December the 5th versus the Ole Miss Rebels. So With that being said, Mozzie, what do you think about the schedule here, man? A lot of people thinking with this revised LSU team, a lot of them pick them to go 8-2 and 7-3. A lot of people looking at that. What's your take on the schedule?
Well, like I told you, I think we discussed this maybe last week or maybe in one of the Unleashed episodes, but I don't see us really start playing anybody until the Florida game. So, I mean, I think that LSU has a really favorable schedule considering, I mean, they're in a I bit of a rebuilding phase, maybe except with the exception of the running back spot. But LSU's offense is touted to be one of the most talented offenses that's out. I mean, our defense has always been what that is. So a couple things go our way, and we fool around and have an above average to good class, especially at the quarterbacking position. I think that LSU could definitely make a run at for sure an SEC title. I just don't know what they're going to do as far as the national title is concerned, with a couple of the major conferences having backed out, and how they're going to structure that. And what whoever wins this year, would they be considered a paper champ, or would they be considered a valid NCAA champion? So all of those things have to, we got to kind of sort all of those out. And I guess that's going to be touchy-feely as we go throughout the NCAA football season. But what I will say is, I think LSU has a really good shot at again winning the SEC and beyond, just with the strength of schedule alone. As you say, those first three games are going to be almost joke-like games, Yeah,
the first three games, man. The back and forth nature of the schedule. Really, I see probably one of the toughest schedules, because they start home against Mississippi State, then they go to Vanderbilt, then they come back home, then they go to Florida, then they come back home, go to Auburn, come back home for Alabama. Well, the 2 weeks they'll be home, and then Alabama, then they'll shoot to Arkansas for 2 weeks and then come home. Arkansas, Texas A&M away games, and Ole Miss at home. So it's kind of a back and forth schedule. Kind of kooky kind of schedule, but you're right. Vanderbilt, Missouri, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, Missouri shouldn't be difficult teams to beat. Now, you know how Mississippi State plays. They're pretty difficult. Vanderbilt, Missouri, we'll see. Missouri, we'll see. There's a lot of rumblings around them being pretty good this year, but that shouldn't be a problem for the defending champions. They should be able to take them on, and we should get some revenge on Florida, be able to keep pushing Florida further down, and hopefully, we're looking at, I would want to see a 10-0 win schedule right here heading into it, defending our crown. Remember, we're defending the champions here, and we got to understand that. But anyway, let's move on. Here's Coach O chimed up. We got him tuned up next. He's talking about the attitude around the team and a lot of questions pertaining to offense.
I'm excited about this football team. I think they're very talented group of freshmen. You look at our wide receiver core. You have the Gatorade Player of the Year, Eric Gilbert. You have the Biletnikoff winner, Jamar Chase. You have the number one receiver out of high school, Terrence Marshall. You have Racey McMath. You have Keyshawn Boothé, Coy Moore, and all those guys backing them up. So I think that we're very talented in that area. I like our offensive line. I like the direction Darrell Rosenthal's going. Ed Ingram, those guys have been great. Liam is playing center right now. We're going to see if he can handle it. Chase Allen's playing guard. Austin is out. We moved Cam Wire there. We got Charles Turner can play there. A lot of guys that can move out there. And we got some depth finally at tackle and along the offensive line. So I think Jimmy's going to do a great job there. Running backs looked fantastic yesterday. John Emery had a fantastic day. Chris Curry and Tyrone are bulls. I mean, those big guys that work hard. I think that you're going to see a different team this year. Obviously, the guys that we had last year were very good throwing the ball. I think we're going to be very good throwing the ball again, but our running game is going to be a lot better. I do believe that. Montre Batcher has been phenomenal. So Kevin Falk has done a tremendous job coaching those guys. Quarterback Miles has had a great summer, great leadership under Coach Ensminger. And those two young guys, Max, you heard me say this morning, ran a little quarterback keep around his left and the defensive right, went about 80. TJ had some good passes yesterday. So everything looks good right now on offense, so we're excited about it. On defense, I just can't say enough about Coach Pelini, what he's brought. Exactly what we're looking for. Toughness, Very smart coach, knows his defense in and out, knows what he wants out of it. We're all learning from him. Our guys are taking to him. He's an aggressive coach, but he's a player's coach, and they love him. And up front, Tyler Shelvin is practicing very well. He's 370 right now, but he's still practicing very well. Glenn Logan's practicing very well. The guy I'm excited about, a couple of guys, but Jacqueline Roy from U High, man, number 99, he showed out. He's going to be aggressive. I think he's going to be a great defensive lineman. Upweiker's in good shape. He's 330. He's playing well. Guillory is a young nose tackle, going to be outstanding. And then in the defensive end spot, we got Andre Anthony is doing very well. And then those guys, the young guys behind them are Philip Webb and B.J. Ujulari. I think they're outstanding pass rushers. Chavez Moore is doing great at left end. He's actually starting at left end. Him and Andre are starting. I think those guys are doing phenomenal. So I think that with the defensive line, we have a lot of depth. We can rotate those guys. The linebacker, DeMond Clark and Jabril Cox have been phenomenal. Michael Baskerville is having his best camp so far. Ray Thornton's there. Josh White. Devontae Lee, Antoine Samples will be strong there. Cornerback, as we got Stingley and Elias Ricks and Jay Ward. Those guys are doing a tremendous job. And at safety, we got Jacoby Stevens, Mo Hampton, Todd Harris, and Tolles. Those guys are doing phenomenal. And so I think that we're very strong. And our special teams are looking good. I'm excited about the direction of the team, their mindset. And only the second day of camp, but I do believe that the football schools that we had in July helped us prepare. We're much further along than we've been. Tommy Moffitt got our guys in great shape. So everything's looking up right now for the Tigers.
That's Coach O chiming in, family, on his thoughts on the team. And Coach went over a lot of great and interesting points, man, dealing with the team moving forward. And just excited about overall skill set of the players, especially in the secondary with Michael Stingley and Elias Ricks. I'm really interested to see what type of defensive back tandem those guys will be in the SEC. Some say they're the best tandem in one of the top 3 in all of college football. And that's saying a lot, but the coach is obviously feeling real good about the team. But I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm really excited about the wide receiver core as well, with Jamar Chase returning there. Terrence Marshall Jr. was another guy that I liked last year. I like Racey McMath. A lot of people have a lot of credit to say about him. The shifting of the players on the offensive line, as Coach O is trying to find the right collection of players to put there in the offensive line, looks good. Of course, Eric Gilbert's a guy that everybody likes at the tight end position, they expect this guy to be one of the best tight ends that played there, which is saying a lot. And Miles Brennan, what's the issue? Is Miles Brennan good enough to be able to command this offense? Well, according to the coach and several other neutral observers saying that the LSU looks good in practice and everything is on part and they're doing what they're supposed to do. So we had questions last year before the team rallied off wins to be able to then go to the championship game unabated, pretty much undefeated, blowing out all the top teams in college. Last year, this team, it's a lot of pressure on them to kind of repeat because a lot of those players are no longer there. But, man, still a lot of pieces. Chase is there. Marshall is there. We'll see if Brennan, who's been there for a while, can suck up this offense so he could be able to then disseminate and put it out. The running back situation behind Brennan to help him out, I'm really big on Chris Curry. He's not as talented as a guy like Leonard Fournette, but still in all, Curry has that ability. Him and Tyron Price, and John Emery Jr. I really like those 3 guys. And Coach O mentioned in prior interviews that they're going to mix those guys up and get them some reps as well. And the defense is the thing that we got to look out for. Glenn Logan is another dude that I like a lot. Tyler Shelvin, a lot of big, people are looking in his way and saying that this guy needs to take the next step to the next level. Ray Thornton in the linebacker core back there is looking good. Jabril Cox is another dude in the linebackers a lot of people like as well. And then like we talked about, in the secondary. So Elias Ricks, Derek Stingley Jr., and all these guys, they're looking good, man. And we'll see how that all translates. But there's a lot of top-notch talent on the LSU club overall. We're going to bring Uncle Mazi back into the discussion. You heard what Coach O said about the team. You heard him, how he gave a lot of credit to a lot of the pieces on offense and defense. What are your thought process on what he's saying, and also your favorites in this roster moving ahead?
Well, I mean, again, I listen to everything Coach O says, and I mean, he always says everything that he's supposed to say. They're not giving me any cause for worry or any reason for worry, so obviously I'm not going to worry or be upset about whether or not they're going to repeat the success they had last year, nor am I going to put that kind of pressure on their heads because, again, these are kids. I think the offense will be fine. I think they've had a taste of what's going on, and I think that they're going to draft and recruit players that can fit that system. So obviously, we're not gonna go out and look for the proverbial running quarterback. We're not gonna go out and draft a bunch of fullbacks or a bunch of tight ends. We're not gonna go and recruit those guys simply because that's not how our offense moving forward was designed to. So I think that all the pieces we have, although some people may not know these specific pieces, we just have to have the trust and confidence that Coach O, as well as the rest of the coaching staff and administration over at LSU, they're giving these scholars away to people that are going to benefit the program in the light that we saw it last year going forward. I think that a sleeper is going to be Kevontre Bradford. Although he's a true freshman, I think I've seen some of his highlights from camp this week, and I think that kid is going to be really, really special. Not that we already have 3 running backs, but I think that behind that triple-headed dragon, when you bring Bradford back, I think that we're going to be able to wear teams down physically throughout the 4 quarters, even if our quarterback is having a little bit of a tough time or a raunchy time getting the ball through the air. We can't move it, throwing the ball. With those 4 guys, man, behind a quarterback, I think that's going to be a comfort zone for us. And I mean, it's going to take us back to SEC football. Not to mention, I'm not going to be too worried about it because, again, this is all conference play, which means these are guys we play all the time. If you notice, we always have issues with the Wisconsins and the Texases and the Michigan. Those are the teams we have issues with. Why? Because we simply don't play them. But, given the fact this is an all-conference schedule, even though we're playing some uncharacteristic opponents, maybe out the East, I think that we'll still pull through and we'll finish the season 9-1 is my prediction. Hendon upon that Alabama game, kind of the only one I'm worried about. But not 10-0 is what we're shooting for, but 9-1 more than likely. Just given the gravity of COVID, the state of football, the way it is, how they're going to play the game. I mean, when you add all of those things up, that might take a toll on those kids early. I think that Coach O and the rest of the staff will get them together and get them to remain focused going forward, deeper into the season. And I think they'll shake back. But it wouldn't surprise me if they had a 1-game loss early. Nothing that's going to affect them too big down the road. Let's get that out the way, because you got to remember the laws of averages are against LSU. We finished last year, 14-0. So I mean, the laws of averages tell us what goes up must come down. We haven't lost the game in almost 2 years. So to sit and say we're gonna go undefeated or we're not gonna have a rocky road, that's putting a lot on the weight and shoulders of a bunch of 18 and 19-year-olds, as well as Coach O. I mean, he deserves to be able to kick back and kind of, navigate his team through it and kind of reorchestrate and rehash. Just take a deep breath. I think we have to get this. I think we're gonna have to break things back down to just being fun. We're not gonna, in order to get over the hump. I'm just excited to have football. How it comes out, how it turns out, that's optional. That's what they call where we from, lane yap. So I mean, I'm good with the extra, the add-on. Let's get the season started first, and let's give these kids, as well as Coach O and his staff, let's give them first of all a big round of applause, and then let's not be the fans that no one likes, and we just compile and place all of this weight and pressure on the heads of these 18 and 19-year-old kids like they're not humans first. But I think we're gonna have some big things coming out. I trust the staff. Coach O has always been a great recruiter. and he's a really good motivator. So as long as he has all the other pieces in place as far as coaching staff and players, I think we'll be okay. What's your thoughts on it?
Well, I'm going to go in a different direction than you, obviously. I think that being that they are the national champions, they do have the pressure already. The mere fact that you are putting on that LSU helmet and jersey, the whole ensemble, and going into the season as the defending champions, that you already have that pressure put on you. You have to defend the crown off top, and we'll see. And in this society, and we often preach, and most of the coaches to others, just the true success is you have to go through pressurous situations to build yourself. And of course, they tell you all the time that the pressure bursts pipes, but it might burst pipes. And, that's how some of our most valuable treasures came on the scene, the creation of the diamond, how pressure is applied to it, and whatever, which doesn't crack if it, becomes a diamond, and which does crack is utterly worthless. So, I mean, we put the pressure on ourselves and this team as well, so that they're going to have to show up to be a champion. You're going to have to, if you want to be the champion and the person that sits on top of the hill, you're going to have to deal with the pressure. Coach O has said he took his team to the mountaintop, and they want to sit up there. They want to stay up there. And I think the celebratory aspect of it is behind us, as they've been celebrating that. And it's time to go into the next season and be able to defend this crown. Now, with that being said, I do look at the fact that you said 9-1 is feasible. That's very realistic, because there are 3 games on this schedule that kind of annoy me. Number one is the Florida matchup. At Florida is a tough matchup, as it always is in the Swamp. When they come down to Death Valley, it's a different thing. But going to the Swamp and beating Florida has been problematic for LSU over the last several seasons. So that game is something I'm looking out for. Also, another game to be very mindful of is the matchup on October the 31st against the Auburn Tigers. And that'll be another interesting game, because Auburn is really stepping up their game too. And it's always tough to go in there and come out with a win. So we'll see which Tiger is strong. Even though we are the defending champions, we're going to get every last one of these teams' games, their A games. Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, all those guys. We're going to get all their A games. Whether or not we can come away with victories in Florida and Auburn, we'll have to see. And of course, a lot of people look at the Alabama matchup and said that's another one, as Alabama's pissed off and they want to look to dethrone LSU so they can get back on top and get back to their dominating ways. So obviously the 3 games that I'm looking out for is the Florida matchup going to the Swamp, the Auburn matchup going to Auburn, and of course we have the home field advantage, whatever that means, to have Alabama coming into Death Valley. So with that being said, let's move to the quarterback and let's hear what Miles Brennan. Of course, there's a lot of talk about what this is going to look like. With Joey B going, he's handing the torch to Miles Brennan, who's been here for a while. Let's see if Miles Brennan could take it to the next level. So here's Miles with his thoughts on camp.
Since you started 2017, you've gone through coaching changes, possible transfer questions. You finally get your shot, then you have to deal with COVID-19. Can you just kind of go back with us a little on how this whole experience has been the last 3 years, 6 months for you?
Yeah, it's been crazy. Starting with 2017 and with the coaching change, that's bound to happen in this business. I committed under Les and Coach Cameron, and then they end up getting fired, coming in with Coach Canada, and then a year later he's gone, and then, Coach Insmere comes in and brings his offense, and then Coach Brady brings his offense, and then here we are, and then COVID gets in the way, but all that's just going to prepare me to be a better person in the end and to be stronger. And without adversity, I don't think, I'd be as strong as I am today. So it's just another speed bump in the road, but I'm more than capable and confident that we can all get through it.
Hey, Miles. I had kind of a question centered around, the chemistry with you and Jamar and guys like that. You guys have been throwing now for a couple weeks. I guess kind of where are you in that chemistry development process with those guys, and just kind of what do you think the next month is going to mean as far as you guys locking in as the cohesive unit?
Yeah, I think the next month is going to be huge, just because this is the first time that we've been able to go against a defense since spring ball, and so just we've been working and we've been throwing for a long time now since quarantine, and now that we're able to go against the defense and actually be with live bullets, it's we're at a next level now, and so I think that this next month and these next few weeks are going to be really important for us just to continue to get our timing down and to continue to gel with each other.
Hey Miles, you mentioned spring ball being the last time you guys really got to throw against the defense. With spring ball being canceled, did you kind of put more on yourself to kind of go out there and lift the weights and try to find ways to be productive and get yourself ready for the season?
100%. Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys I'm sure went home and probably just took the 11 weeks that we were off. They probably just took those weeks off. But I know personally and as a team, I know that we took advantage of those 11 weeks. Even though we weren't able to be with each other every day. I know that our strength staff made us send in videos and things like that to make sure that we were staying on top of our strength and conditioning. And I know personally, I was doing everything in my power each and every day to make sure I was getting better.
That's Miles Brennan, family. He chimed in, giving his thoughts and on staying active in the 11 weeks that they were shut down due to the C-19 situation. And Miles Brennan, as you heard, feels good. Now, this kid's been waiting for a while for this opportunity, man, to step in behind the starting quarterback position and show what he can do. But I've seen he's not exactly a new guy on the scene. He's had an opportunity to see different offenses, and he's handled that very well. Now, one thing I know about Miles Brennan is the fact that he's a very intelligent kid. Now he had to work on his body. He has a strong arm, and he has to go through his progressions and make sure he delivered the ball where it's supposed to be. Jamar Chase it'll be a good addition to help him out as well. He could have left, but he decided to stay with LSU. Actually, he had to stay, so he stayed behind with Terrace Marshall, and those guys will perform. They'll perform, and they'll provide a very good combo of weapons from the wide receiver room to help them. Plus the tight end. When you have a quarterback like that's stepping in there, he's going to need a safety blanket. Eric Gilbert, the true freshman at tight end, will provide that. One of the best tight ends coming in here to the offense. And then, of course, you look at the three-headed running back of Curry, Price, and Emory Jr. Those guys that provide some of that rushing attack to kind of help the team out. So, I mean, it's interesting to see how this all goes. And plus the defense is on par. They'll be fine as well. So a lot of great things to see about LSU football moving forward. Defensively, I like a lot of guys as well. Like I said, Glenn Logan, Damone Clark is interesting. Jacoby Stevens is back there as well. And then you look at Derek Stingley Jr. and Elias Ricks and what kind of combination those guys will look like. Now let's get into our final news item for the rest of the show, and that's covering some unfortunate news. LSU football coach Ed Orgeron responds to the Darius Geis rape allegation, says the victims must be heard. This is coming from USA Today. LSU football coach Ed Orgeron issued a statement Thursday night denying that he made a light of a sexual assault allegation against Darius Geis. The statement comes one day after the USA Today investigation found that LSU apparently failed to investigate allegations by two then students that Geis raped them in 2016 when he was a rising star freshman. Now, according to the quote, it says, quote, the sexual assault allegations made against Geis should be taken very seriously and alleged victims must be heard and supported, end quote. Orgeron's statement said, he also said, I will also stand up for what is right, and without question, I have complied and I will continue to comply with all university Title I-X protocols and procedures, end quote. According to the women and 6 friends and family members interviewed by USA Today, school officials said at the time didn't believe the woman and provided questionable explanations as to why their alleged assaults wouldn't be investigated. The women said no one from the university interviewed them or potential witnesses about these allegations. Now, if you read the rest, the 2 women says ex-Washington running back Darius Geis raped them. He said Orgeron and other officials did not respond to numerous detailed questions from USA Today on Tuesday before the article was published. Geis, through his attorney, has denied the woman allegations. Geis played in the NFL. He was recently released because of a domestic violence charges that was brought up about it, and then the team just outright cut him. Now, he was a former second-round draft pick there who had a questionable career mauled by injuries, showed some promises, but this could be difficult for his, depending on how it shakes, to see how his career ends. Orgeron's statement comes the same day LSU interim president Thomas Gilligan told a local TV station that the university has been investigating the matter since they heard the story, which was published online Wednesday morning. Now, it's not clear who is conducting LSU's investigation and what specifically is being investigated. 3 LSU spokespeople did not answer questions from the USA Today according to this article. And then a local station reported that Gilligan said LSU is investigating both the allegations against Geis and how the university initially handled the situation. Now, this is what's said about them. I can't say too much about the details, but I can say, given my time at LSU, then I would be surprised if we did not follow our procedures and our policies. And that's a quote from Gilligan. Of course, I would be concerned if we did not follow our procedures and our policies. USA Today's investigation found that LSU does not appear to have has not investigated any women's complaints. And despite that policy at the place of time, universities are required to promptly investigate sexual assault allegations to determine what occurred and then take the appropriate steps to resolve the situation. Very, very curious that they didn't do that, whether they believe them or not. And they're saying that the rules said it should have kicked in automatically. This is what they're saying. I lost all respect for him. Orgeron was a defensive assistant under head coach Les Miles when the alleged assault occurred. He was named interim coach after Miles was fired a month into the 2016 season and announced as head coach on November 26, 2016. One of the women said Geis raped her in 2016 after she had passed out in her bedroom during the party. He'd shown up uninvited. The other women said Geis raped her in late June 2016 when she allowed him into her house after a night of drinking at a bar where they met for the first time. The first woman was dating an LSU football recruit at the time of the alleged assault and told her boyfriend about the incident afterward. The recruit told LSU Today in the spring of 2017, Orgeron brought up the subject of Geis and the then girlfriend and told him, and they said, quote, everybody's girlfriend sleeps with other people, end quote. Wow. That we got going on here. The former player said he doesn't know how Orgeron knew what happened, but believes the coach knew it was not consensual. Quote, I lost all respect for him, end quote, the player said of Orgeron. They didn't name the player. He was nameless. But Orgeron disputed this, having said that he said he would have not revealed a few details of the conversation, but the athlete's reconciliation is inaccurate. Rather, Orgeron said the player came to his office discussing the transfer and that they, quote, discussed the player's relationship challenges with his girlfriend, end quote. And also said, I told him what I would tell my own sons. We all experience heartbreak growing up. Do not throw away a promising academic and football career at LSU because of personal obstacles, Orgeron said. He says, insinuation that I've now acknowledged of his girlfriend and Darius Geis is completely false. When contacted by USA Today, after Orgeron issued this statement, the former LSU player said, everyone knows the truth. And that's the end of the article. So this is something else. The mere fact the rules tell them that if a woman goes to the school and says that she was raped, whether they believe her or not, they have to then execute an investigation. The mere fact that LSU did not do this investigation is very problematic. It doesn't look good. Because if you'd have done an investigation, well, our investigation determined that this person, such and such, no investigation was done, which is totally wrong. And of course, Geis, as he came in last year, was one of the biggest stars of the team. He rushed over 200 times, several times during the year. He won all kind of accolades and then went on to be drafted in the second round of the draft. So this is quite problematic indeed. So we'll just have to keep going on with this, and this is troublesome. This is not going to go away, and it should. If they didn't follow the procedures, some heads need to roll, and we'll see what's going on. So a lot of stuff going on, and is that what kind of player environment we got going on here? Well, girlfriends of players are sleeping with other players, and that stuff goes on in college campus. So that's not like play, like they going to school at a Catholic academy somewhere. Come on, man. That happens at school. It's all kind of stuff going on. So that's not justifying it, but they're saying there is a very casual sex relationship between a lot of people, especially on the football team when you're dealing with teenagers. like Uncle Mazzy was speaking about 17, 18, 19-year-old teenagers who they're not committed in any relationships. They're sleeping with girls and girls sleeping with them because they're on the football team. But if he raped these women, if these rape allegations are serious, he should have been investigated for this. And of course, he's dealing with domestic violence charges, which ultimately cost him his spot on the Washington Redskins just last week. So how is that going to shake? I'm going to bring Mozzie into the conversation. This will be our last article before we end the show. What are your thought process on this whole with the allegations on Darius Geis?
Well, again, man, it's just so unfortunate. Darius Geis has got to feel like the biggest loser ever, because that 15-minute fling or time he had was only 30 seconds or so. Well, about 10 seconds only counted. It has affected him years later down the line. That's completely asinine that he would even involve himself or make himself susceptible for this kind of scrutiny and for this type of situation. But I mean, we see it so many times, when you achieve this status, even before the money, as it pertains to some of these new age youngsters, when you achieve a certain status, you begin to smell yourself. The old folks call it smelling yourself, and you begin to feel like you're untouchable, and that no matter what you do, it's justifiable. Now, whatever the case was, this was totally unjustifiable. You had no, you gotta know, and something might sound crazy, but I always said when I was younger anyway, that if I ever come into money and I was ever in relations with a woman and we, that situation was about to happen, it'd be really awkward because I'd have to pause it. I'd have to go at my little attaché case and pull out a contract and I'd tell her to initial each page and sign the last two. That way I could assure that I wouldn't get any kind of blowback or backlash from it. Now, I'm not saying he should have went that deep into it, but come on, Darius, come on, man. You got to make better decisions than this, man. If I was Charlamagne, I'd definitely be giving him the donkey of the day. Whether the allegations are true or not, to be honest with you, Q, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because there's no way you should have yourself in that type of Willie Foo Joe Sausage Head predicament. Am I correct in saying that? Okay,
You are.
Right. You're in arguably a perennial top 10 program the last decade, right? If you just stay on board and feed off into the system, even if you're never a national title winner or anything, none of that comes up. At the time, I believe he was playing behind Fournette, so he wasn't getting the reps that he got, his sophomore, junior, and senior. But here's the thing, if you feed off into the system, what it could be, and understanding that you have to eat, breathe, live, poop, everything has to be around that sport, that craft. You don't have time for girls. The same thing I tell my son. Hey, man, my son he's in the music heavy. Hey, man, listen, you don't have time for girls. You don't have time for any of that. Once you climb the mountain, that's when you turn around. When you're at the summit, you turn around and look and see, damn, I'm really high. And you see the road that you traverse, and you could appreciate it more. You don't have time for celebrations while climbing the mountain, because that could lead to you falling off the mountain, if that makes sense to you. So everything involving this situation as a whole is just complete and total buffoonery. I do not feel for him in any shape, form, or fashion, because he should have never had himself in that position. When I'm there, I'm playing football, I'm focused, I got to do what I got to do. Now, I know that's to be on the outside looking in to say that, especially from the perspective of a teenager going to a predominantly, white school, and, I understand it's a culture shock, and I understand how you're looked at. You're looked at as the big buff black slave that, can pretty much do anything he wants. You're kind of invincible. You're almost like the main attraction of a carnival act or a circus act, like you're the bearded lady all of a sudden. I get that. But somebody, I don't know whether it's mom, whether it's brother, sister, dad, stepdad, uncle, somebody has got to, keep in constant contact and communication to keep this kid grounded and keep reminding him what he has on the table and what he stands to lose from a stupid decision just like this one.
Yeah, this is terrible, man. The university's at fault severely. They're looking at the coach. This could have some severe ramifications for Coach Orgeron and the school period if they didn't investigate the rape allegations. That is a rule that you're supposed to do. It has nothing to do with belief or not. They're supposed to investigate it, and it shows that they failed to do so. And that is not a good thing. That's not a good look. And plus, obviously, you write about him and his failings and what he need to focus on, but it does add credence in the court of public opinion because he's just dealing with domestic violence charges that got him thrown off the Washington team. So, and then right on top of here we go. So this could really stop him in his tracks. And, the problem is with those ladies, he scarred those ladies for life. If that's the case, we have to see what's going on. But that's terrible. And no matter how you look at it, man, you can't have that.
I had a lawyer once tell me one time, Q, where there's smoke, there's fire.
That's
so right. no matter if this one could prove it, that one could prove it, it doesn't matter because in the grand scheme of things, this is the second time something of that nature has reared its head in your direction. Now, I'm not saying you're guilty, but what I am saying is something ain't right. How does it go? Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right. And this is definitely not right to me. I don't know.
That's not right either. But we're gonna see. Keep looking at this one. I don't think this story is gonna go away anytime, and it shouldn't. The LSU need to be disciplined if they didn't investigate like they were supposed to, and we'll just keep monitoring, and time will tell what the story is. So I'd like to thank everybody for joining us here on Tough Tiger Talk. We almost reached the summation of a 40-minute show. We covered everything. Coach O, him breaking down the team. We heard from Miles Brennan as well, the starting quarterback. We appreciate you guys for joining in today's Tough Tiger Talk. As usual, please subscribe, hit the like button, and share the show. Let other Tough Tiger Talk fans, other LSU football fans know about the show, about the podcast. Let them know and put them on Tough Tiger Talk. So from me and Mozzie, we appreciate you joining us today. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Remington Tax Solutions is a company that, together with their partners, provide virtual tax consultation and preparation for individuals, small business, and nonprofit. They also provide notary and a host of other business-related services for their clients. Their associates provide a systematic yet very client-centered approach to their services. They offer the industry knowledge and insight to help solve your most complex tax issues. At Remington, their currency is time, the one resource that cannot be replenished. For that reason, they utilize the simplest and most effective forms of technology to make their services faster and more efficient. No need to wait in the office until your taxes are completed. Simply upload your documents via the Taxes to Go app or via their client portal, and they'll take care of the rest. Remington Tax Solutions is a member of the National Association of Tax Professionals and participates in the IRS Annual Filing Season Program, which is a voluntary tax education program to stay abreast of the ongoing changes in tax legislation. Remington Tax Solutions has a strong connection to the communities in which they serve. It is a part of their mission to make a positive impact on the lives of their neighbors. So, if you're looking for a reliable, effective, and trustworthy tax preparation service, Remington Tax Solutions is the business for you. Contact Remington Tax Services at their number 682-307-4410 or simply go to remingtontax.com. That's remingtontax.com. Remington Tax Service, virtual tax preparation for the individual and small business. TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, and even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, TheWhoThatDaily.com is your site. TheWhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That and all of us. HomeBistro.com. Freshly prepared, home-delivered, restaurant-quality gourmet meals delivered straight to your home. Choose from over 50-plus gourmet meal options cooked by world-class chefs and delivered frozen, ready to eat within minutes and no commitment. Welcome to the One Shop Gourmet Food Delivery, specialized affordable options to eat right and feel great. 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Every ingredient is handpicked to the highest standard. And why you should buy from homebistro.com? Restaurant quality made with natural ingredients delivered right to your door. Overnight shopping is available. Diabetic, paleo, heart health, and vegetarian options to eat. Doing business since 1999. Courteous, knowledgeable, and professional support. Complete PCI compliant SSL security ordering, and great meals. Choose from some of my favorite dishes: the Mediterranean chicken with orange honey sauce, the charbroiled chicken romesco, or the grilled chicken breast with sweet and spicy vegetables. No matter what you choose, you can't lose with homebistro.com. Eat great, feel good, and save some money with homebistro.com. Hit the link in the description section below for more information.
I'm a Saints and Pelicans fan, so the only podcast I can get my fix is The Sports Coma with Big Q. The guy's intense, funny, and they always keep it real.
Check out The Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
Are you a boxing fan? Check out Ring Kings Boxing only on the PRO Media Network.